Hello, dear friend. I greet you on the channel of Male Psychology. Secrets that slaves of women do not know. 1. Do not run after women, they will get acquainted with you. Inaccessibility is just a hook on which a woman tries to catch you. But if she sees that you do not beg, that you do not care and that you do not at all intend to tear your ass from the chair to start running after it, then she will start to take the initiative. Provided, of course, that you are in her taste and something interesting to her or for some reason you need in terms of benefits. And if you are not in her taste and she is not interesting and not profitable, then no running and striving will still help. So is the point then to run around? 2. There are a lot of single women. Another revelation for slaves accustomed to seeking women and competing for the female. In fact, in our society there is an approximately equal ratio of women to men, and by the age of 30, women are becoming even larger. At the same time, 33% of men by age 30 are still not married, so 33% of women are also free. Moreover, this statistics is also outdated, 2010, and fresh indicates that, for example, in Moscow there are more unmarried women, up to 38%. We add millions of dilution, with and without trailers, because every year in our country about 600,000 marriages fall apart, which means there are 600,000 divorces, which annually sum up with each other, turning into millions of women looking for a new chance for a new life. Finally, we add here a growing generation of girls who are not happy with the Koval drunkard and hopeless student loser, but want to snatch something more held. We will end up with a huge selection of single women from 16 to 40. Choose almost any of what you are interested. Or they will choose you, even if you want to sit in the shade. Because they need. 3. Marriage is needed for women. Many men so solemnly present a ring to a woman, as if she does not need it at all, but for a man this is the meaning of his whole life. In fact, the opposite is true. Creation of a family, the birth of children, marriage are all exclusively women's desires. Every girl from childhood dreams of a white dress, ring and marriage. And with age, this desire only increases. If a woman has never been married and has not given birth to a single child, she feels enormous social pressure, a burning unrealization, and bears the stigma of failure in comparison with married friends who have managed to marry. So if they need to, let Anne run and get the ring in a box, persuading her to marry. 4. Marriage is scam in its purest form. To understand this, it's enough just to get on the internet and carefully study the statistics and marriage laws. By the way, no married man had studied these statistics and laws, otherwise he would not have married officially either. Up to 90% of women change their husbands at least 1-2 times a year. Up to 83% of marriages end in divorce, on average after 5 years. Up to 10% of men do not bring up their children and do not even know about it. Up to 80% of divorces are initiated by a woman, not a man. Up to 50% of his income is required to pay in the form of child support a man. Up to 180% per annum is a penalty for late payment of alimony. Up to 75% of his property is lost by a man in case of divorce. 5. A woman is not needed. To understand this, one must live alone for at least a year. It turns out, to cook, eat and wash, it's absolutely not a difficult matter, it takes a little time. How can you even depend on a woman in these matters? Can a man really not understand which button to press so that the machine starts to erase things and cannot find a borscht recipe on the internet? It's ridiculous. Women, by the way, still like to rely on the issue of their need for the myth that someone is waiting for you at home. But excuse me, but why do I need someone to wait for me at home and then take out my brains after an already busy day? I like to come to a quiet empty environment, so as to humanly relax, sleep and be alone with myself, to pause in communication with the outside world. If the myth that men like that their homes are waiting, was true, then why does the bachelor go home with joy, and many women go to the garages with the same zinatikomi and do not rush home at all? Finally, sex is generally the most ridiculous topic. It's funny that a woman is morally and physically obsolete by the age of 30. A man, she either manages to get bored before the age of 30 and wants something new, or overgrows with cellulite, hanging tummy and wrinkles and already physically does not cause desire. And so the sense of making a marriage for the sake of sex is simply not there. Sooner or later even the most delicious cookies taste like pasta, if you understand what I mean. To cookies was a cookie, you need to be hungry, not well-fed. But the female irrational logic says that the type of male happiness is that sex was at hand. But why do we need this overdue sex? A man is a hunter, his happiness lies in this hunt, and not in poking into the cellulite of a 30-year-old ant, into which all wives turn sooner or later. So from a woman in a marriage there is no, in fact, sense. At first she will pretend that all such is out of her reach, although these inaccessible ponds are a dozen, every third, not counting the divorce. Then he pretends that he does not want to get married, although he wants to. Then he starts to change, he does not know who you are from, and if he gives birth to you, then he will file for divorce. He will sue the apartment you earned while she at home brewing this long-suffering borscht and awarding alimony more for the next 18 years of your life. And yet, without a ton of makeup, hairpins, corsets, dresses and expensive underwear, a woman is quite an ordinary person, nothing more beautiful than a man. Therefore, consider a woman a beautiful sex can only be on a date, where she comes plastered with stucco and on heels. And in real life, an ordinary woman, not a princess and not a model. All princesses and photo models have long been abroad or on Rubliovka. And if the woman is not there, but in Mukosransk and works as an ordinary bumper, then she does not deserve royal treatment for herself, however much she would like it. Subscribe to the channel and be happy.